I think so, and I've got a lot of questions and a lot of concerns. Joining me, Anahita Sedaghatfar, criminal defense attorney of counsel to the Cochran firm. Jasmine Simpson, I interrupt you. Anahita, is there any way he can justify, or has he broken a law that young man who is the son of a doctor who runs a treatment program, the son is essentially a marketing person, he's not a clinical person, in his backpack is a narcotic, he's taken it across state lines, presumably with the intent to administer. What does that mean? Well,
it's a very complicated situation. I don't think he's out of the blue. I think it's great that he hired a defense attorney because it is illegal for anyone to take drugs across state lines to give to somebody else. Even doctors can't do it unless they are licensed in that particular state. Now, Minnesota has a Good Samaritan law that's an exception that says you won't be prosecuted for a drug crime if you call 911. Obviously, they want to promote the public policy of people calling 911 to help people that are overdosing on drugs. But there's an exception to that. If that person is being compensated or expects to be compensated, then the Good Samaritan law doesn't apply. And this doctor is from Marin County, California. That's where I grew up. It's a very wealthy county in California, so I suspect he was getting compensated a lot to be doing this.
It just all smells.
I think so, but I think what Anahita's saying, though, there's a Good Samaritan law that protects him because the intent was to treat, not intoxicate.
Well, he called 911. He called 911, and that's the little Good Samaritan law.
Yeah, he's dead. The guy's dead, and then he calls 911.
That's right.
I don't think that's going to even matter. I think the point is, was he being compensated? Yes. I guarantee you there was a financial arrangement involved.
Sure. That's why
else would they go to California to get this doctor from Marin County? There was a rehab facility, less than 4 miles away from Prince's home?
Let me show you. I have a map of the... So normally, if I were those guys, I should have put Anahita up there. You
never talk to the police at all, and that's why the attorney is providing.
Normally, if I were those guys, I should have put Anahita up there.
You never talk to the police at all, and that's why the attorney is providing cover.
I think it's interesting, though, now that you pointed that out, that it was the son that called 911. So I'm wondering now, did he call an attorney first? Did he have someone that advised him, perhaps maybe you should call 911? Maybe they knew about this Minnesota law. It does sound a little suspect.
Absolutely. I think they were well aware of.
Not great. It's black.
He doesn't want to lose Prince as a patient.
We gotta leave it. And why didn't he just go to Hazleton, which is right around the corner?
Prescription is what differentiates between being an abuser and an addict. Can you explain that? I don't get it. I really don't get the distinction.
An abuser is just somebody a user and abuser is somebody who's using the drugs along the way that are not useful, that are not safe, that are just to get high. Somebody who then develops tolerance and withdrawal is now dependent. A non-addict will stop that drug and be
a solution. So is there a middle ground? What would you suggest?
Middle ground is us talking about pro-life advocate. Anahita, we have been here before, you and I, whether it's what's Jahai's last name? Jahai McGrath. Or Bobby Christina Brown. I went over and over this. When somebody's brain is gone, it is gone. Why is it different than if I pulled the heart and lung out and just had it as a physiological prep? Why do people not understand this is a prep just like that?
Well, for two reasons. I think people want to believe in miracles. And then when you look at videos like that where the child or the individual reacts to touch, people believe it's the brain.
It's not.
But it's not the brain. It's a reflex.
It's an autonomic nervous system. It's the body that is disconnected.
Doctors examined this child. They went to 3 different courts in California, state courts. All the courts agreed that the doctors used the right procedures, they followed the proper law, and they all determined that this poor child is brain dead. And I think that's the bottom line. Now, we'll see. It'll be interesting to see what this federal court does, because I think it will be groundbreaking if this court actually mandates this hospital and these doctors to perform these surgeries, to give him a feeding tube, to give this child medications. I think that will be groundbreaking.
So he can be transferred,
So he can be transferred to New Jersey.
I bet they allow it. I bet they.
Well, why not? Why would you allow it? It's the law. I mean, I'm confused.
Because they're trying to get the court to tell these California doctors to perform the surgeries, give the medications, so that the child can be transported.
And what's wrong with that?
That's the issue.
What's the problem with that? I hope it's not about money, because let's face it, it sounds like money. It smells like it's about money.
What I love what Leo's talking about, what's the universal truth. He wants me to declare universal opinion of all doctors.
To be an element of denial here, just hearing these parents talk, and it reminds me,
it's heartbreaking, denial.
Right, and that's what I'm wondering. Are there not any services, are there not any mental health professionals that participate in these decisions?
You're making my point. No, hold on. But you're making my point, which is the job of the professionals should be to bring these poor people to the point where they're understanding reality.
Her head, though, John, she had a gun pointed to her head. She panicked.
They're uniformed police officers.
Okay, hold on.
She fled.
Hold on.
They
Well,
weren't.
that's easy for you to say, but here's the expletive and what that officer had said to this woman. There were multiple complaints against these officers.
40 complaints between these two officers in the past. So I want to know, why were they still part of this police department? And more importantly, what are they doing now? We don't know that they've been fired. We don't
John,
know
how
that they've
about all
been
this?
suspended.
Come on now.
Oh, look, 40 complaints and a
Complaints.
Come on, John.
2
Reasonable
complaints.
suspicion.
3 complaints, maybe.
No, you're
you
wrong.
question that.
You're
40
wrong.
complaints
You're
between
wrong.
the two officers?
Yes. That's what happens
John-
when cops are active. Bad guys make
John, you see
complaints
nothing
against-
wrong. You're being disingenuous. You see nothing wrong with their conduct.